In this video, we are going to look at the differences between these two lenses, Sigma 85mm f1.4 DGDN L mount and Lumix S 85mm f1.8. My name is Pav and I'm a professional photographer and filmmaker, and on this channel I review weekly lenses, cameras and other photography video related gear. So if this is your thing, then please consider subscribing. These are two L-mount 85mm lenses that came out recently, and although in my opinion these are in a different class from each other and with a different price tag, we are going to look at the differences in the build and how they both perform, and hopefully help you to decide which one is a better choice for you. I must say a massive thanks to UK Digital and Panasonic UK for lending me this pre-release version of the Lumix 85mm lens, and to Sigma UK for fixing me with this 85 DGDN L mount for this review. However, I wasn't paid or asked by anyone to say anything specific about these lenses, so this is my honest and unbiased opinion about them. Let's start from the price difference. Lumix lens is the cheaper of the two, and it retails here in UK for £599 or $599 in US, when the Sigma is actually £400 or $600 more expensive, retailing for £1,000 in UK and $1,200 in US. It's a quite big price difference, but there are a few major differences between them. Sigma is f1.4 lens. It has an auto manual switch, focus hold button, and as well as that, manual aperture ring that can be declicked with a switch to smoothly change aperture when and quietly when filming. Lumix is f1.8 lens and has got auto manual focus switch. And that's it. Sigma is heavier at 630 gram when Lumix weighs only 355 gram, which is nearly half of what Sigma weighs. And it is also smaller. With the weight difference comes also the build quality. Sigma feels more solid than Lumix, which feels very plasticky. There's also no built-in stabilization in both of these lenses, but both are weather sealed. Different filter diameter. Sigma is 77mm and Lumix is 67mm. Lumix lens has got 9 aperture blades when Sigma has got 11, but both are circular diaphragm, and I'll talk about the bokeh they deliver in more detail in just a minute. Apart from the obvious size, weight and features differences when deciding which lens is better for you, it's worth to know that this Lumix 85mm f1.8 is the first of 4 f1.8 lenses coming out very soon, and they all will be the same size, weight and filter size. The other 3 will be 50, 35 and 24mm focal lengths. You will be able to share the same size filters between lenses and change lenses without changing the rigs, the camera's size and weight while shooting. This lens could be an obvious choice if you are going to get another or all from the set when they are out, or if you are hardcore Lumix fan and won't put anything else on S full frame camera but Lumix lens. If so, you can stop watching this video now. If you are still here, let's compare both side by side. Let's start with the Lumix lens first. It is sharp and it delivers great colors and contrast. The weight really helps with run and gun type of shooting and helps to be less visible if you are shooting at the event or street photography. It renders really nice looking images with less need for correction in edit. Sigma is bigger, and with that big front glass element is looking more pro out of the two. Sigma is also sharper and more accurate focusing when taking photos. It has got that really nice crisp sharpness pretty much every time you take a picture with it. There's visible distortion, bulging and vignetting when shooting RAW, and 2 months since release date there's still no lens profile in Adobe Lightroom to fix this automatically on all imported images. I am sure that this is coming out soon, but strangely enough there is one already for the Lumix lens, even though it was only announced a week ago. Distortion Lumix creates is very minimal though, and it is corrected automatically on import in Lightroom. I have created a Lightroom preset which fixes Sigma's lens distortion and vignetting, and it is available to download for free together with few comparison raw sample photos for your pixel peeping pleasure from the link below this video. Both lenses show a little bit of chromatic aberration, not to the point that is a problem, not image destroying, and most of the time super easy to fix in post. Comparing the autofocus of these lenses side by side, I have shot with both of them on the same camera on this S5 with the same settings and at f1.8 in identical lighting conditions. Sigma had literally zero problem with tracking a human form and face and getting sharp images every time. It was performing as expected and really rock solid. See how good the eye tracking is. But to my surprise, Lumix was getting confused a lot. I have done the same test few times and it was like this every single time. If I wasn't comparing the two of these lenses side by side, you could say that these were difficult conditions for autofocus, but Sigma had no issues at all in the same conditions. Yeah, when Lumix did. Don't get too excited about the Sigma lens yet though. We need to talk about the video autofocus performance first. After clearly seeing that Lumix lens is sometimes struggling with the AF taking photos, I really thought that this would be the same in video, but yeah, I was wrong. Lumix lens is consistent. It does focus and face track okay. The only limitation is the S5's autofocusing system, which hopefully will be greatly improved with the coming firmware updates. So the autofocusing isn't super fast with Lumix, but it is working and it is consistent. Sigma, on the other hand, yeah, well, it works when it wants to. I have again used the same camera and exactly the same settings, and the Sigma lens just couldn't focus on me at all sometimes. Sometimes I had to wait over 10 seconds for the AF to find me, even though I was standing motionless in the middle of the frame. In the same scenario, Lumix had no problem whatsoever. Slow, but consistent. Good thing is that there is literally none of the pulsing I have experienced when testing the pre-release version of S5 with different lenses than these two. Both of these lenses, once the AF latches on, work okay, and in most of real-life situations would be more than sufficient as long as your subject is not moving forward and backwards all the time. But let's hope this is going to be improved vastly with the future firmware updates. Okay, let's talk about the bokeh. Both lenses have a really nice, creamy and smooth bokeh and create really good separation between your subject and the background. In reality, I don't think there is much difference between both of these lenses unless you really start picking on it. Sigma's 11 aperture blades create slightly rounded bokeh, not round, but round there. I think even knowing that, looking at an image taken with either of these lenses individually, I'd really struggle to tell which one is from which lens. The difference is visible when you see two photos side by side, but who'll ever be comparing it like that in real life? In my opinion, the bokeh looks very similar from both on portrait and when shooting everyday stuff. I can't say that bokeh from either of these lenses really stands out or is significantly different. I'd say that it has got this modern high quality look to it. Yeah, nice. Sigma has wider aperture, and although it will let more light in, allowing it to be used in lower light conditions, I don't think that's always the best thing, as the depth of field at f1.4 is very shallow. In my opinion, in real world situations, f1.8 is more than enough to achieve that lifestyle look and very blurred background. f1.4 lenses will always cost more, but does it really make that much difference? Maybe it does to someone, yeah. Comparing the images side by side, Sigma's photos are slightly less contrasty. Not something that cannot be controlled in post if you are shooting RAW. I guess this could make a difference if you do shoot JPEG or video, as you will have less room to bring the shadows out. Manual focusing. Focusing manually, both lenses suffer from quite a lot of focus breathing, but that's normal in lenses like these, which are fly-by-wire. they're smooth and firm to focus. Good thing is that the Panasonic S5, and I presume other S models as well, you can change the focus ring throw from non-linear to linear. In non-linear, the manual focus speed will change depending on the speed in which you turn the ring. Pain in the ass, if you ask me, but you can switch it onto linear, which makes the manual focusing ring behave naturally, like on the cine lenses. With that, you can also adjust how many degrees the focus ring turns to get a full rotation, from full travel of the focus, from 90 degrees to 360, full way around for small and precise focus adjustments. Great feature if you are planning to use any of these lenses with a follow focus system, as not only they will behave as you'd expect, but you'll be able to change the amount of focus turn to suit your needs. So not really a lens thing, but Panasonic thing, which helps the lenses in manual focusing. Conclusion, I think I personally would struggle to choose which one to buy. I prefer Sigma's overall size, weight and build quality, and the f1.4 aperture. I do. It is more sophisticated lens on many levels, but it is more expensive. I am not even going to take the autofocusing in video into consideration here, as this might improve very soon with the firmware updates, but Lumix does better and more consistent job autofocusing in video right now. So does Sigma when taking photos. Lumix is cheaper, lighter and smaller, but it also will be one of 4 identical in size and weight lenses. For me, filter size and sharing filters between lenses is not such a big deal, but to be able to balance a camera with a lens like this on a gimbal and then change lenses without the need to rebalance the whole thing each time is big. If you do film a lot on a gimbal and you would go for at least 2 of the Lumix lenses from the set, it could be a huge decisive factor here in favor of this. So you should really carefully weigh the pros and cons of each of these lenses and decide which one is better for you. If the focus hold button and manual aperture ring that can be declicked are things that you are used to or need in your workflow, then Sigma could be the one to go for. If the size, weight and compatibility with other Lumix lenses in the f1.8 series are things that are important to you, then this Lumix could be an obvious choice. Quality-wise, I think these perform very similarly and both deliver very sharp and high-quality images and videos. In my opinion, Sigma is a tiny touch better overall, but not much. Focusing issues are just a part of Panasonic camera experience, I guess, for now, and should not be a decisive reason for choosing any of these two. Which one is the one? It's your call. For me, Sigma. There, I said it. And this is it from me. If you like this video, then you know what to do. And if you like this kind of content from me, cameras, lenses, photography, video reviews, then please consider subscribing. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Whew, I'm out of breath. It's a not COVID. So many words. Okay, this is the wrap. Bye.